pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda today is the minutes from the last meeting and employment of the GIS analyst.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, we have Judge Kilnowski. Discussion decision to approve the application for the use of the Pottawatomie County Grounds Courthouse for the National Adoption Day on Saturday, November 19th, 2022. Judge Kilnowski, you're up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for considering our request to have the courthouse be open on that Saturday, the 19th of November. The National Celebration of Adoption Day started in California, but we've embraced it. I think this is at least our 12th. I don't know how we count virtual adoption days, but we've done that virtually for the last 2 years. So maybe we're at 14, 15 years of this celebration. Kids who've been in foster care are being adopted into their forever families. And although our judges and Department of Human Services do these adoptions throughout the year, we use that Saturday to focus on the need for more adoptive and foster families and just to turn it into a big party. And in past years, we have set up chairs in your second floor mezzanine, had speakers, that type of thing. I think this year we will keep our numbers a little bit smaller, and we probably can handle that kind of big group in our courtrooms. We now have technology that we can project what is going on in courtroom 4D, which is our biggest courtroom. And if we need overflow, we can have folks in courtroom 4C listen to the speeches and the proclamations and the kind of preliminary stuff before we start hearings.
How long does that last?
We will finish up before noon. Usually our last hearings are scheduled around 11 o'clock or so, and then our fleet of volunteers and your wonderful building and grounds folks start cleaning up and picking up. But we've in the past used, in fact, this very room to set up crafts for kids, face painting, that type of thing. So we do need your permission to use the building, and of course you'll have to have security available and all that kind of stuff. So I know it's a big ask. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer those.
I think it'd be a good thing to do. I really do. And I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any other discussion for Judge Kilnowski?
Thanks for doing this.
Yep, thank you.
It's the happiest day in the courthouse all year. All of you are more than welcome to come. It really is a blast. All of us have a great time doing it. So.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
There you have it, Kathleen, or
Thank
Judge
you so
Kilnowski.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have discussion with the city of Carson and Minden regarding the small town needs. We'll start off with the city of Carson. And just to kind of let you know that, the board has decided that we're going to take a look at some of the smaller needs from all of the small towns in Pottawatomie County. We're going to bring them all in individually and provide those projects, their list of projects to the board, and then we'll take them all and compile them and see which ones that we can help each town out with. So with that, if it's okay, we'll start with the city of Carson.
Sure thing. I'm Breanne Duty, the city clerk administrator from Carson, and the council and mayor tagged me to come speak with you this morning. So they appreciate you listening to what we have for projects currently on our list for this current fiscal year and upcoming fiscal years. I know you have a long agenda ahead of you yet, so I'll just touch up briefly on the first 3 projects that we have on this current fiscal year. I've provided your handout there, and it's on the screen. One of our first projects we have going on is the capital improvement or the capital equipment purchase of a new ambulance. We try to get a new ambulance every 10 to 12 years. With the pandemic, that was the most utilized, obviously, local resource we had in response to the pandemic locally for our community. We serve not only our Carson community, but the local mutual aid to Oakland, Macedonia, and Henderson along that Highway 59 corridor. You'll see we had quite a bit of call. That's a lot of calls for our community just in last year's. So we took bids earlier this year, the fire department did, the ambulance purchase, and they authorized a bid for $281,000, a little over that. The city council has authorized use of our local ARPA funds, $120,000 towards this purchase for public safety. That leaves us with the remaining balance of a little over $161,000. So that's our main goal. If you guys would be open to assisting our community at all, that doesn't only support our community, but it supports the local communities because we do provide a lot of mutual aid assistance locally. If you have questions about the ambulance, I brought Adam Hay. He's our assistant EMS chief in the past. He can answer any questions about call volume responses. So that is our main target right now. They've authorized the bid for that. We expect delivery to be sometime in June or July coming up. So that's where we're headed with that. I just briefly gave you a list for the next couple of projects we have going on this fiscal year. We're still working on our downtown revitalization efforts. There's 2 derelict buildings downtown. We did receive funding from the DNR for a grant from them. And so we're working on getting some of those down. It's part of our phase 2 of downtown revitalization. And then we do have a 13-acre commercial park development on the south side of Highway 92 with some new businesses going in. So we're assisting that project with some water main and sewer service extensions going in there. And then I've included additional projects on down the line, but I won't waste your time with all that unless you have questions about that.
Never enough money for everything you gotta do in those little towns,
right.
is there? Just
That's
never.
Is that commercial park annexed?
Yes. Yep.
Most of your ambulance calls, do they go to Council Bluffs afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay,
99.9% of our calls get
Okay.
transferred to either Jenny Edmondson or Mercy.
okay.
Very seldom do we go across the river. Due to
All right.
protocol reasons, they have us go to the nearest facility.
If you take a look at your calls,
How come you have so many calls from Oakland?
For fiscal year 2021, they didn't have a paid firefighter at the time, and they weren't responding to their calls. So we were the next in line mutual aid to cover a lot of those calls. For 2022, we've been there 47 times already, 65 for the community of Carson and 12 to Macedonia, and then 5 to others outside of that to include Trainer. We've been to Mills County a couple times. So that's for 2022 as of 9/8. So usually pretty close to 50% of our calls are outside of the
And
city.
they have a paid?
They do now. They started to get one, but he's not always available, and then at nighttime, they don't have a paid person at night. So a lot of our calls are to that community in the middle of the night, early morning, so.
How many volunteers do you have?
EMS, I have 9 personnel trained as EMTs, or advanced EMTs or lower. We have 19 members on the department to include firefighters and EMS.
How many does Oakland have?
I want to say roughly 8 or 9 EMTs. I'm not 100% sure on their numbers.
But they don't take calls at night?
Not usually when we're going up there that many times. Usually after 4:30, their guys
in the
gone.
daytimes too.
I didn't understand you, Elaine.
In the daytime, they don't take calls either sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of weekends and evenings we're covering for them because they're paid guys, just not around. And Macedonia has like 5 people, one of them is in town during the day, so they're struggling too to keep personnel around. You know, we struggle too. A lot of our guys are farmers or whatever. When we get a call, we're out of place. We just can't make it work, but it seems like a lot of us, we're covering a lot outside, so our our cost to run last year was really high. It was one of the highest. Our call volume has increased every year since I took charge. we set a record last year with over like 250 calls, and we're on trend to beat that again. Our call volume is increasing. Of course, with like everything else, it's just items are going up, costs are going up, but trying to keep the ambulance we have running.
So I was gonna ask that, so you're just gonna expand your fleet, I take it, or are you gonna trade in?
We're gonna replace the ambulance that we have with this ambulance.
Okay, so they'll.
Then we'll look at replacing that one.
Do you have one or two?
We have one.
Okay. Are they looking to give you a good trade-in on yours?
We have another,
Community we've worked with in the past in Iowa usually buys our old unit.
Okay.
And they switch the box out and such on it, I think, or do something with it. So it's been a good working relationship.
we'll get more that way than we would trading it in.
Sure.
The manufacturers just won't give you anything for them.
And the present unit is 12 years old, is that what you said?
Yes,
So yes.
it was manufactured in 2013. Yes, that's part of the bid is to save on insurance and injuries and to personnel is we're gonna put an auto loading system in it. I believe Council Bluffs utilizes those in theirs. We don't have it, but that's added cost, but it's built into that 281.
Carson had bought one of those too.
That'll be a
And that was a
big
big deal
helper
for
with,
them.
'cause a lot of times we're going on calls, we only have a firefighter and an EMT. You got two people trying to move a patient out of a house to an ambulance, load them. That person's by themselves in the back, treating that patient coming all the way to town. Then you gotta get them out at the hospital, which most of the time the hospitals will help you. Trying to do more with less.
Okay. Mitch, you got those? Yep. All right, you're awesome. Any other questions for?
No,
our-
Appreciate your time.
that was good.
Thank
So,
you.
can we just talk about the last project that you have there real quick? The 18 residential. Lots.
Yes, you want an update on where that currently is and such?
Yeah.
So currently a developer bought it from the previous developer. We had tiffed that area back when it was annexed in, and it was part of, you'll see to the north of that, on the top side of that is where that commercial development is going in, that large parcel there. So it's my understanding the current developer is wishing to sell those lots off. So we've been trying to come to the table with him and see what we could work through, but I'm not sure we're gonna get anywhere at this point. It's up for sale, so we did just get some estimates on what it would cost to get infrastructure into there, and it's a little over $1 million to get. So I'm not sure how that's gonna cash flow very well. And the TIF sunset has already occurred. We've talked to our TIF attorney about if we could even re-TIF that. I'm not sure the Iowa law is gonna allow for that, so,
Is
yeah,
it platted
Yes.
as such?
correct, yes.
Okay.
So you tipped the second part. And it
Yes.
failed to mature.
Yep, it was right before the housing market went out in 2008, and then, yep, hindsight 2020, if you could have just
One
hined in
section,
each
then
phase
another.
rather than the entire area, would have been much more beneficial, but that's not what occurred. Yep.
We had big hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough call there.
Yes.
Brianne, is there anything in there about seal coating to French Street from 92?
No, they don't, that's not a city, street.
That'd be the guy behind it.
So is there sewer, potential sewer and water to there then?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Sewer and water to that, those lots then? Is it-
There's nothing in there at this time, but you could potentially, because it does come down that first phase,
Okay.
we could run the mains down through
So it's
there.
there.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
It's just not in that part of the subdivision yet.
Good.
But it is in that first phase.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a mix-up on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Brianne, why is that one lot highlighted in that second phase? It's yellow.
I just clicked on the assessor's page.
Oh, okay.
That's my technical ability. That's what you got for show there. I just had to click on it and do a screenshot. That's my technical. No reason.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, any any other questions.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the City of Minden, Kevin Zimmerman, Mayor Kevin Zimmerman is with us.
I forgot to give you one, sorry.
Thank you.
Well, I think everybody knows me, that I'm Kevin Zimmerman, Mayor of Minden, and then got Glenn Hurst here. He's one of our council people. We got asked to come in today and talk about funding for the near future. I don't want to go step by step, but as you know, in a small town, there's all kinds of projects. You just got to pick the ones that you can do. Some of the major stuff that we've done in the town, we did the lagoon project. At the time, it was $850,000, and we paid for that with geo and revenue bonds. The new water tower was $850,000, geo and revenue bonds. The lagoon is 1 year left.
Yes.
We got 1 year left on the lagoon, so that kind of goes in play with some of the stuff we're talking about here. Downtown project we did here a few years ago. You guys hopefully been through town. That was about $800,000, and we did that with Iowa West help and TIF. Metal Lanes was 500,000, and the city was able to take care of some, and then of course TIF bond. Meadow Lane is one of the north streets. It's a housing development. It was put in probably in the late 70s, but the street was starting to, so we put in all new water mains and everything in there. We have also updated most of our water system around town as we could do it. We looped the whole town with 8-inch PVC, so we've eliminated all that through the downtown, cut across a few major streets. So we're pretty good for our infrastructure in most of the area. There's still some spots we need to fix, but that, as far as looped and stuff, we did pretty good. And then with both of them, the lagoon and water, we've been talking about a housing addition. We made sure it was ready.
Kevin, what's your population there now?
It was 599, now it's 610, something like that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. We need one more baby. Okay, some of the things we need funding for. City Mini Brady Street 3-block water main. This project was turned into the McCurran Group, which you guys know. The estimated cost is around $225,000, and we're hoping to get a matching funds grant through that program to be able to even do it. The engineer knows about it, and he's working on the drawings and everything already. That's part of that loop. One more bad run that we thought we better get fixed. You know, it's probably 60 years old and needs updated. So, but that's a major one there.
Kevin, is McClure working with you on the grant process?
Yeah. Yeah, we were picked number 3 of the group, and now we're just trying to see what funds are available there. So, yep, we're one of those group that got picked, I guess. Most of you guys know that we've been working on this housing deal for about 30 years. There's only one spot that we could grow. It'd be north of town. We finally were able to put an option on the ground. We're buying 45.212 acres. The city is, which is really not called for, or, you know, not normal, but she gave us a hell of a deal. We were able to buy it for $499, which I guess our cap was $5. So we were able to buy it.
She didn't leave much on the table.
No, she didn't. We were able to buy it, and we're in the process of closing on that land here next month, so we can go forward with our deal. But with that, the estimates to do the first 25 or 20 acres is about 1.6 million. So we've really did our preliminary engineering, but we've got to do the engineering and all that stuff on that to make that go forward, but
And how many houses in that first 20?
They were less than half acre, what was it?
I think there were 30-acre lots, if I remember right. Was there 40?
That's what I wanna say.
I think there were like 40,
Okay.
if I remember right. You know, we got a lot of streets in there and major streets and stuff, but, it is a pass-through. Yeah, it's gonna be a big boost. You know, I think you guys heard me before, the last major, renovation project Minden had was a house fire. So we need to have some more houses in town. So, that's huge for Minden. That's our future. So we're working hard on that. With that, we also have our foundation we're working on, through, Advanced Southwest Iowa, Shalimar. She's helping us with our foundation. We have to get it funded somehow. I put that in here. It's, whatever we can come up with for a fund, I think Iowa West sounds like they'll match it. So that gives them a kitty. That's what Oakland did and Avoca's done and a lot of them, and you guys seem to like that. You know, that's an awesome deal. And then if we start building one house a year, it's, you know, maybe that might get an investor in there to buy 10 acres or something and help us on the other end. So right now we've talked to about a dozen investors and they've got this list. They want us to buy the ground. They want us to do this. We're going down the steps, but once we get the ground bought and get it locked in for a decent price, then they would maybe come in and buy a portion of it. But we're doing our steps. So, Hillside Drive, Hillside Lane, it's 5 blocks. Been there since the 70s. The street's starting to give way, needs some street cover. We're really wanting to do that. It's not in our TIF. Just like Carson, it's hard to get the TIF. I don't think we can get the TIF in that area, so it's all out of pocket pretty much. It's probably, we're looking more at a patch right now again and trying to get by with that. Infrastructure is an everyday cost, as you know, and we would love to do a walking trail, but right now we've got other things that we're working on, but a walking trail is still a big deal trying to get done in town. So, but we do appreciate your time. If you got any questions.
Where would you put the walking trail?
Well, Kaler Park is on the west end of town, east end of town.
Yeah.
And start there, cause that's kind of the adult park, and start there, and then a lot of towns use the streets, but you know, Kaler Park, if you use the street, you're on the highway, so if we'd probably start there and then maybe do a cost share on, the homeowners for some of their sidewalks and make a big loop. But
It'd be easy to connect from there up to the new development
Yeah.
as well and make that part of the development.
That's a big anemone anymore.
Yeah.
People want a walking trail.
Yeah.
Be connected.
So I think it would work, and the biggest thing is, you know, you're always looking at that price, that hurdle, so, but yeah.
You have a lot of infrastructure put in the last few years, haven't you? That 800,000 was just everything's 800,000. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't put the pennies
It's,
in there.
it's easy budgeting and everything, right?
Just rounded it off. That's good, though.
But
That's very good.
Okay, any other questions for Kevin or Glenn?
Could I ask what's your population now?
766.
766, okay, thank you.
So Kim, have you closed on that ground then?
we're closing, we signed the papers, and she wants to close her at the end of the month, right?
Right, it was before, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So-
that crop ground now?
Yes.
So you're gonna,
We didn't get the letter sent to the farmer in time, so he gets to farm it another year, which is fine, but,
okay.
but yeah, I guess it had to be there before September 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you gonna let him farm, him or someone farm for
Yeah.
a while to take the revenue from
Yep.
there?
Yep. And that'll give us time to get all of our engineering done and the final design and figure out how many, we were trying to just buy 20 acres from her. And she was pretty adamant she wanted to sell it all, so we pretty much told her what our top dollar was, and that's where we were at. So it worked out.
So it'll be kind of done in piecemeal.
It's good, you got a plan for the future.
Well,
Yeah.
you got something to market now too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some houses there, but she took all the easy ones. She did all the way around the outside, or he did, her dad. But he did all the easy ones, and the hard ones are now all in the middle, so we have to figure out that. But
But it was already in the city limits on that
Yep.
one?
it was in our TIF for, last house was built probably 18 to 20 years ago, and he got mad at the city, and because we put our foot down and said, you gotta have a plan, you can't just pick a spot. And I was on the council then, but I wasn't, like the guy in charge. But he finally died, and she died, and the daughters wants to work with the city. So I've been working.
She doesn't have a grudge.
I've been working on him a long time.
Kevin, does the city limits go up to the exit?
Nope. Goes up to the cemetery, you would say.
Okay. I just wondered if that was
Yeah.
in the city limits, that would have been nice.
That'd be ideal, right?
It would.
Yeah, and then she owns the ground across the road, and she wants after we get this through, she wants to start on that, so.
Are you talking on the west of Elm?
It's, yeah, the west side too, she owns that too, so,
How many acres is that?
oh God, another 40, I
Yeah,
think,
it was a good size.
so.
That's a little more difficult though.
A little bit more, but we're gonna put the infrastructure in there so we can go across the highway and.
Yeah, we're already
Be
built
ready
up
for
for this side of the highway. That'd be a little
Yeah,
more of an infrastructure project to cross over.
You need to see.
but everything we did, the water tower, everything is set up for another 100+ houses, so we,
Good thinking.
yeah, tried to be ready for it, so.
I think we're poised for a lot of growth in our little towns.
Yeah.
All of them.
I think there's 120 houses, which if we do build it all out, so.
Well, that kind of brings up the small town growth. A lot of that is going to be dependent on access to high-speed internet, that other infrastructure piece. And if we can get that across the county, then every community has a chance to grow. And like you can have a job in Des Moines and work from Minden or Carson.
So,
Good.
Thank you.
You
Thanks
bet,
for coming
thanks
in,
guys.
everyone.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Since we finish getting all the other small towns in, we'll sit down and take a look at all the projects and try to put something together. And, the board, I believe they're setting aside 1.5 million for this part of the infrastructure projects, along with the 1.5 million that we matched with the Iowa West Foundation to take care of those other projects that were identified with McClure. So we're moving in the right direction, trying to keep things and help the towns outside of Council Bluffs out. And we will be back in touch with you as soon as we've compiled the information and the board's made a call.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. And
We may end up calling you back in for some questions or something too.
I imagine you'll have a more formal process of how to request specifically, like what our priority would be, or working with you to identify those priorities.
Yeah, that will be handled with Mitch.
Okay.
Because there are some reporting requirements for the ARPA funds that he's gonna have to be able to take care of on the expenditure side of things, so. We get the fun job of helping you pick the projects. He gets the tough job of keeping track of the funds.
Yeah, just one other thing, keep in mind too, it's not, that ARPA's not the end all be all with this either. So, I mean, these projects are good ones, and if it doesn't make the ARPA pot of money, we may explore looking at gaming or other sources too, and try to help you figure those out. So it's not a one-time, it doesn't necessarily have to be a one-time deal like this.
Okay, any questions for us? Okay, I'm gonna
Sign
guess,
the check.
Make sure that, yeah, right.
how many more towns do we have?
We have 4 left, 3 or 4.
So appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for
Maybe
coming in.
maybe in October, or first part of November, right in there somewhere.
Sounds good. Well, like that street project, we're gonna do the engineering and all that ahead of time, because we gotta have it done, so. So, sounds great. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Could you send me an email to, that'd be fantastic.
All right, next up,
You guys can-
we have John Rasmussen, County Engineer. Discussion decision to award the bid to Prairie Construction for the construction of the Pottawatomie County Roads Secondary Shop in the amount of $8.896 million. John, you are up.
Sure. We received bids back from the structure. I think they came in pretty well. They did leave us with some challenges though. The low bid brought the cost down by about 800,000 from a year ago. On the base bid at almost $1 million, but we have some alternatives in there. We're also about 575,000 below the August estimate you were given. So, want to work with you on how to proceed.
If, Kim, this bid has a 30-day award time, is that correct?
60 days.
Pardon me?
60 days?
60 days.
Yep.
I'm sure the board is aware, as far as the local option sales tax that's available for this project, we have 6 million. We have 700,000 that the board contributed to help John out with some of the grading and some of the other work that was required. So we have a total number of funds available right this second of about 6.7. So we're a little short. My recommendation to the board would be that we set a capital plan discussion for next week and see if we can find a way to wiggle out a little more funds to help this project out, or we make a call and we just go with the shop and not the office. But at least that gives us some opportunities to take a look at some funding that may or may not be available. And then I would ask the board to consider awarding a bid on the 11th of October.
John,
Okay.
go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
John, you sent an email on September 20th with the bid, or 21st, I'm sorry, the bid. So 2.196 for secondary roads fund. I guess I'm gonna ask the question, like, what, are there things that were originally earmarked for that money for roads projects? Or, so if you deplete that fund, are we not doing certain road projects that you originally were planning to do prior to this building?
I probably should have said the local option sales tax when I sent that. We still have about 550,000 coming in on buildings when we sell, and that's gonna come back to the secondary roads fund. So it's kind of hard to move those funds to local option, but we carry a balance, and that's kind of the ebb and flow of our projects. I couldn't identify what project's gonna be impacted by this, but it is in the same funds, but well within our balance. I'm maintaining a balance of a couple years of bond payments already in local option, and this is maybe 2 extra years of bond payments out of that fund, so it's.
When you say bond payments, you don't have another bond besides this one, do you?
No, but I'm making the bond payments on a local option sales
Right.
tax.
But it's for this bond that we're talking about now.
So the bonding wise, we're about a quarter of my annual revenues into local option goes into bond payments for this project.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to look at, really not knowing, what fuel and materials and those things are gonna happen in the next year or two, year and a half. I'd really like to look at, I guess, those alternatives of funding that, office building. I'd really like to have that rather than I mean, I don't wanna see our roads and snow removal and what's the winter's gonna be like, and I don't wanna be in a position where we're, not being able to continue to make progress on the roads like we have been.
Right, so we've already kind of made some adjustments for funding. In my 5-year plan, I've taken out $12 million just based on the new estimates. So we're kind of finishing the projects that are well in development and we're ready to be let, but we do cool off in a couple of years on projects just due to inflation. We're gonna have to, you know, there's no adjustment to my revenues for inflation, so I am behind on projects. We're just gonna have to figure out how to win money, I guess, to backfill that. So we do have some strategies on inflation, and I'd kind of like to go into it, I guess, as efficient as possible. So I think this building helps us as a department, you know, be efficient.
And you're saying with the office, that'll help you?
Yes, all these projects were kind of funded by efficiencies they create.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you got 550 coming back when we sell the other buildings?
Based on the appraisals, yes.
Okay.
Was the bid that we got prior to this, was it Prairie too?
No, it's Mecco Henning.
Mecco Hitting was? Okay, they were the only bidder last time, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that, you know, if we get those numbers in front of us, and take a look at, some of our other funds, keeping in mind the local option sales tax on the, we can do that on the 4th. I think if we can kind of give John a direction or to bid on the 11th. If that's okay with everybody else.
It's okay with me. I think discussion will help us
Yeah.
to settle it.
I just, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Tim. I think we need to see what all the funds are available in front of us so we can make the right call. I mean, it's just, it's tough. I mean, your brain's operating 100 miles an hour because you're an engineer, and then we're trying to like put things in pots of money that are gonna get replenished, and I just think we need to make sure we're on the same page, you know, so we understand exactly what your thoughts are as far as how that fund gets replenished, and then, or whether we pull from a different fund and pay it that way so you can continue to do road stuff. 'Cause I don't want you to sacrifice you know, whatever road project you might have just to simply get this building done, and we could have maybe done something with the different pot of money we had, you know, so I appreciate you really whittling down these costs. I mean, you know, when you came in here a while back, it was a little bit higher, and I think we're headed the right way now.
So how many people took out bid packets?
Anymore, that's tough to say.
Okay.
But we got 4 bids this time around.
Right.
So,
That helps a lot.
yeah.
Is there?
We had 5 or 6 at the pre-bid that walked through, so.
So is there any contingency money in here at all?
With their bid, probably, I mean, their bid is just a lump sum bid based on our drawings,
Okay.
so.
I mean, our experience has been we've had change orders that have gone on the plus side rather than us going less, so. Okay, well, I think we'll have those discussions, see what happens.
Okay, Mitch, will you then, go ahead and set up a capital plan budget discussion for next Tuesday?
Yep.
And then, as far as HGM goes, after that meeting on Tuesday, it's my intention to set either a bid award on the 11th or a bid denial, whatever the board decides they want to do.
Sure.
But we'll let you know that.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds
So
good.
is that what you're seeing, out there, about $350 a square foot in the market?
Yeah, even for a pre-engineered metal building, masonry, pretty much what it is right now.
Okay.
On the 6.7, does that include the sale of them other buildings?
No, it doesn't. No,
Okay.
Those funds have to come back to the secondary road funds, but got some logistic problems there. The funds that help aren't going into the right fund, I guess. But
Okay.
it's
I know you guys gotta follow the rules and stuff, but
You know, that's why I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Sure.
Brian, because if he wants to, if those funds can go towards, covering part of that cost.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be realistic on those buildings too, so. Okay, that's what we'll set up for you, and we'll clear
Thanks, you
them.
guys.
Yep, thank you.
All right, public
What
comment.
date did you say you would, put it in?
Well, we're gonna have the budget discussion on the 4th, and then I think we owe it to the contractor and HCM to decide whether we're going to accept the bid or deny it, or whatever we're gonna do, and we need to do that on the 11th. Yes,
The 11th of October.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be
you said
within,
60 days for.
And I heard November, but,
yeah, that'd be within 30 days of the bid date.
okay.
Okay. Next up, public comment. Did anybody sign the sheet? No. Awesome.
No.
Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent C, on pending and possible litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go closed session. Mr. Hauser, call the roll, please.
Chairman Wickman?
Aye.